Today, let's do a deep dive and an experiment of the best coachability in college football 26, man. I feel like this one is super underrated and really under talked about, man. I haven't heard people talk about it that much. And it's going to be in the strategist category. To unlock strategist, you have to win 4 bowl games and also spend money in tactician. 4 bowl games, or it's not that tough, but it is if you're a small program. I ain't gonna lie, it is if you're a small program. Could take you 4 years, or it could take more. But this is a game-changing ability, this mind reader ability where you have a chance to learn a development trait for whatever position group you desire. I love this ability. I'm gonna show y'all about how frequently this ability works, man. And the reason this is better than ever, last year wasn't even in the game, better than ever, is because of development trait mattering so much. It's so important this year to find a guy with good development trait, man. Even better than the gym. Like, having better development trait is way more important than having better skill caps, in my opinion. Because development trait, if you have star or elite during off-season training, they'll get extra progression. So just having that good development trait matters so much in this game. So having this ability is phenomenal. So I'm going to show y'all, man. What I did here is a test. But before we get into that, if y'all enjoy this content, like, comment, subscribe. If y'all want to see other tests, let me know, man. I'll be sure to test it out for you guys, man. Also, go check out the Twitch. So what we did here is I added 100 linebackers. You see our defensive coordinator has that ability for linebackers. So I added 100 linebackers to do this experiment, and we're going to test how many of these linebackers can we see their development trait. How many? So right here we have 35 4-star and 3-star linebackers added to our board, and out of these 35 linebackers, we're able to see 9 of their development traits. So you got a star here, you got normal, keep going down, you got normal, elite development on the 5-star, keep going through, you got another star, another normal. So that's a pretty good percentage. I ain't gonna lie, man. You got an impact. I ain't gonna lie, that's a pretty good percentage. But out of these first 35 players, we end up with 9 guys with that development trait that we could see. So let's go into another save file where we'll scout another 35 players. There will be up to 70 players. We'll count how many guys we can see their development trait. And then the last run, we'll do another 30 linebackers, count to see how many development traits we could see. And at that point, we'll be at 100. And we'll see around what percent of, every time you scout a player with this ability, what percent do you get to see that development trait. So we added another set of linebackers here, and guess what? We're just going to go through, add as many 4- and 5-star linebackers as we can to our board. We're going to fill this thing up with 35 middle linebackers, and then we're just going to get into some scouting of these linebackers and see how many development traits we could find, man. Very simple concept, but it works. So this go around, we scouted all 35 players, and this time it was only 8. So, which is consistent. First time was 9. This time we find 8 players that we get to see their development trait. So we'll go ahead and go through the last attempt, and this time we'll only add 30 guys. So that'll get us at 100 exactly. And that'll give us pretty much a percentage of how many of these players, how often can you find a development trait when you have this ability for only 1 coach. When you have this ability on 2, if you get it on 3 coaches, you green. But 2 coaches, 3 coaches, the percent will go up, man. So we added our last 30 players, and this one was actually the most surprising run, man. So we added 30 random linebackers like we've been doing before, and we scouted them, and we got 13 development traits, man. We found 13 development traits. Now, a lot of these guys have pretty good development traits, man. So in total, the first go around was 8, the second go around was 9, and this last one was 13. That equals to 30 out of 100, man. So that's 30%. 30% of the time when you scout a player, with this ability, you'll get to see their development trait, man. I think that's pretty solid. Obviously, this wasn't the biggest sample size. If you do this maybe 1,000 times, maybe you see the number more, so like 25% of the time. But 30, I'm good with that, man. That seems pretty reasonable. Now, what I want to do here is I want to do the same exact experiment, but I want to buy the coach ability for our head coach as well. So we'll have the same exact ability for linebackers on 2 coaches, our head coach and our defensive coordinator. And I want to see the difference, to see if that 30% now increase. It should increase, but I want to see by how much. We went ahead and got this strategist. Now we'll get this coach ability on tier 4, mind reader, for our head coach. So now we have it for our head coach and our defensive coordinator. And guess what? We're going to do the same exact thing with these linebackers. And we're going to record the data for 100 and see how many development traits we could find this go around. Okay, so if you get this coach ability on 2 coaches, this may be crazy. So we just went through and counted. 22 is the number, man. 22 out of 35 here in this first run when we have the coach ability on 2 coaches. 22 out of 35 is great in my opinion, man. So let me just go through, show all y'all boys, so y'all don't even have to question it. Y'all could count if y'all want. Pause. It's going through. 22 out of 35. Let's go into the next run. So second time, the next 35 players, we got 17 development traits we was able to see this time, man. So a little bit lower than the 22 number, but 17 also is not bad. It's not bad at all, man. Let's go ahead, hop into our last trial where we'll do 30 to get to that full number of 100. Last go around here, man. Guess what? 23 out of 30 players, 23 of these guys were able to see their development trait, man. So what did that number equal out of 100 for the second go around? 62. I think it's safe to say that every single coach ability, at least for this mind reader, adds around 30%. The first coach was exactly at 30%. The second coach, now we're at 62. So, obviously, if we do this test more and more times, we're going to see them numbers be a little bit more accurate. But only doing it 100 each, it seems like each coach adds around 30%, which in my opinion is pretty darn good. I ain't going to lie, man, because you're able to cherry pick and really find guys with good development trait, man. Once it gets to that 60%, when you have the ability only on 1 coach, it might be a little bit tough to cherry pick, but still an extremely useful ability. Just when you factor in how valuable development trait is this year compared to last year, man. Last year development was a lot more random, man. You'll have guys with star elite development not really develop at all. This year you don't really see that, man. They get a lot of skill points during that off-season training. Last year the development traits seemed to be just more tied to in-game development compared to the off-season training. That's the way it appeared, and they went out their way to say this year that development trait will impact off-season training even more. So I think this is the best coach ability. If you could find a way to get it on an offense or a defensive coordinator and get it on your head coach, golden. And I think it's also safe to assume if you get this coach ability on 3 coaches for the same position group, I think you're looking at about 90%. I believe that's what it would be. I think every single time is going to add 30. But like I said, y'all let me know what tests y'all want to see next. If y'all enjoyed this content, if y'all thought this was helpful, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all boys. Check out the Twitch, and we're on to the next one.